happy to have EUGENE, my counterpart in Holland, Amsterdam here. So EUGENE is the chapter leader of Health 2.0 Amsterdam and also the founder of Health 2.0 New York. So EUGENE, can you tell us a bit more about you?
Sure. So I've been in the healthcare industry for closing in on 20 years. Currently, so the Health 2.0, I started the New York chapter about 8 years ago and then handed it off, and I think it's one of the larger chapters now across the world. And I'm doing the same thing in Amsterdam, so we're about 1,000 members. On sort of day-to-day, I run a healthcare vertical for a company called SOFTSERV. We're an end-to-end consulting company, doing work with healthcare ISVs and life sciences, etc. And I'm happy to be here at Mobile World Congress, where I just flew in from US literally a couple of hours ago, so I'm trying to keep my eyes wide open.
That's working quite well.
All right, good.
So why are you here? What is here for you?
So what I love this year, we're at the 4YFN space, but last year and the year before, it was very difficult to make sense out of where's the healthcare and the digital health companies are. They really organized it well, so I walked around with the green dots this year, which is for health and wellness. And there's a number of companies here, and obviously Mobile World Congress, it is all mobile. And Western world is sort of converting, but in the emerging markets, it's starting from mobile. So I think it's important that, and as Matthew Holt's comment around mHealth, mobile is just another interface, another input, but certainly one of the key ones.
Okay, and what are the trends at the moment in health? So you travel a lot, you see a lot of things. Can you share with us what are the trends?
Yeah, and obviously always follow the entrepreneurs because they see quite a bit, but also my work at SOFTSERV, we've seen one of the key trends, and I'll just mention only one or two of them, is around user experience or the patient experience. I actually don't like saying patient, it's around healthcare consumers. So the companies, for example, we work with at SOFTSERV, all the conversations, and same with the startups, are constantly starting what is that user experience, and the user experience can be for the patients but also for the clinicians. You know, if you think about the EMR systems today, they're just ancient. You cannot, you know, the tools that we use today on a daily basis as consumers, that's not what the clinicians have. So one key focus I think for this year, and we've certainly seen a trend, is around the user experience, and whether it be an app or a web app or all the devices that are coming on board, how do you interface with them? So that's one. The second one, we all talk about data, and the data is being collected, as our friend Manish always says, you know, 24/7 by 365. We're gathering this data now, and I hate using the real buzzwords around sort of big data. At the end of the day, it's what's actionable. And the analysis of that data and the artificial intelligence. There's a lot of brilliant data scientists that are actually coming out of the clinical backgrounds that are now able to, you know, study insane amounts of genetics data that's coming out, wearables data, which the jury is still out, right? You know, how accurate, what it can be used for. And so while I don't see sort of major, tremendous outputs this year around, okay, you know, artificial intelligence will summarize it all and personalize it all, but I think this year we'll see a lot more of that, and I'm actually happy that I'll be speaking at the Bear demo day in a couple of weeks, so that's the conversation of the talk. So those are the two major trends that I see. There's a lot more, but I'll probably just pause there.
Okay. Yeah, so the demo day, Bear demo day is on March 14th, so we'll see EUGENE there. Just a good question for you. So you've got something here on your hand.
Yep.
Is it this one?
This one.
This one. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So this is a NFC chip. So it's the same technology that's used in the phone, Apple Pay. And I actually got introduced to it by Martin de Braber, who runs the Rockstar Digital Health Accelerator. Okay. Came out of the quantified self movement. Some people think I'm crazy, and Martin has the same chip. You know, the idea here is, you know, is it truly usable today? you get into the ethical discussions around, what can you use it for? So as an example, with some of the engineers, we synchronized the drug data. So if you're taking drugs, there's some smart pills out there like Colpack, as an example, a Dutch startup, that as you pop the pill, it actually talks NFC, and you can actually write that to a chip. So if you're an Alzheimer's patient, and God forbid you leave the house, you get lost, if there was a process around, and that's the big if, right? Just like the AED machines are everywhere, can you scan your parents, your grandparents? But you do get into these ethical discussions. So currently, I have, all of my vCard data, so that's the basics if you scan it. I have a link to OpenSNP, which is where my DNA data resides. And I still have remnants of the testing of the drug data that we put on the chip. If you talk to the founders, some other applications, believe it or not, is for military, right? It's hard to say, but if a soldier is left, you can scan it. And funny enough, my dog has a chip like that. So you get into these conversations, we all humans going to be chipped. So that's the shorter version of that, what I have inside. So it's a small chip. This is roughly the size.
It's about that size?
What? Yeah, it's about this size and very thin. It's in a medical grade glass.
Okay.
So you can't shatter it. And it's got a little chip that gets powered up by when you bring your phone near it, it gets the power from the phone and it can communicate. And the way they inserted it was with a needle. It had the chip inside the needle and that's it.
I want one.
It's called
Maybe when I come there.
dangerousthings.com. You can order it online, and they have deals with tattoo parlors all over the world. So you can go to the tattoo parlor and the guy or girl will just do it for you.
That's great. Well, Eugene, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure having you here.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.